What it do, Crew Excellence? What's up, my good people, man? I am back. This is episode 50. Can you believe that? 50. Shout out to, hey, if you know, you know. Shout out to Reese Holiday. It's a dope moment in the pod. Shout out to Nate, man, on the ones and twos. This has been a great journey, and we just getting started. But today's episode, because it's so special, I brought back a special guest who was on here earlier in the year. And she needs no introduction except for the people who don't know her. So shout out to Dr. Louise Strickland. She is my wife, and she is amazing. She's pulling up to the pod to share with this episode her expertise. She's going to drop some gems, so stay tuned. Now, I'm going to tell you about the pod first. I'm going to have her introduce herself. If you're here, this is the Ladder Podcast. We exist to develop leaders. And wait before you turn off. Everybody's a leader. So we're here to help you become the best leader you can possibly be, because we believe when you are your best self, the world is a better place. So if you're here, you are chasing excellence, and we are pursuing it together. And so I just want to say thank you for spending some time with us today, because you don't have to. And so I'm honored that you would hang out with us. Now, to my introduction of Dr. Louise Strickland, tell the people something you accomplished this year.
Ooh.
And give them one thing that they should know about you before we hop into the episode.
Okay, this is a hard question. I would say one thing I accomplished this year is obviously finishing my doctorate degree.
Yeah.
But like a secret thing that I accomplished is writing a guided journal.
Why is it a secret?
Because not many people know.
Okay.
You said something they don't know.
That's fine.
And you know.
Sure.
And two other people, but no one else.
No, now they do.
Now everyone knows.
All right.
Okay, and what else?
That was it. You were supposed to tell them something you accomplished and something they should know about you.
Deal.
You good?
I think
Anything else you want to get off your chest?
Nope.
All right, bet. So today's episode is we're going to talk about 5 lies about leadership. So these are 5 things that people are told about leaders, that are told about leadership that just aren't true. They're just not true, right? Mm-hmm. But these things are things that are like told all the time, that are cultural norms that I just believe are just non-factual. Okay? So the way this is going to work is I'm going to say the lie, okay? And then you're going to tell me kind of your knee-jerk response to it and why you think it's a lie. And we're going to go through it like that.
Okay.
That sound good?
Yep.
Easy enough? All right, let's get to it. All right, so number 1, the first lie we're going to talk about is I'm self-made. Okay? So that's the first lie we're talking about. I'm self-made. I got here by myself. Yeah. Now, your turn. Knee-jerk reaction. When you hear that, what do you think? Why do you think that's a lie? Or do you think that's a lie?
I do. I do think it's a lie because I believe that everyone has a community around them, even for people who would say, like, I did it on my own, like, no one helped me out. It's like, surely you ran into a teacher, an employee, or a friend or something that encouraged you in a moment. So I think it's a lie because it feeds our pride to say that we did it by ourselves. Mm-hmm. And it kind of robs our community and people around us from an opportunity to say, oh, no, like, I do remember when they were a kid, or I did help them when they were little. So I don't know. I think it feeds pride, and then it paints a false reality of our experience.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And I think when people say they're self-made, I think what usually they're saying is the people that I thought were going to help me didn't help me.
Yeah.
I think that's more of the truth of what they mean, because I think everybody would acknowledge someone helps you along your journey.
For sure.
Like you said, as a teacher, a manager, a boss, even if you're an entrepreneur, customers, like that, you can be the best entrepreneur ever, but if nobody buys from you, then you can't make it, right?
Yeah,
and so
that's true.
I think what people really mean when they say I'm self-made is like there's certain people, family, friends, that spouses or partners that I thought were going to help me and they didn't help me, and so I had to figure it out without them.
But I never thought about it like that.
Doesn't mean you were by yourself, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's kind of what happens. How we get that lie repeated over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Because like you said, even if it's something as small as advice, or I know a lot of people who maybe not have formal education, but they read a lot and they get information from in that way.
Which
well,
is
somebody had to write that book.
Yeah.
Right? And so
That's
we underestimate help sometimes when we're trying to push a narrative about our
About
own
ourselves.
self-worth and
Yeah.
our own work ethic, right?
That's true. I would add that I think sometimes when people say like, "Oh, I'm self-made, like I got it out the mud by myself," it's with the intention of saying like, "If I did it, you can too." But I think sometimes it has the opposite approach or the opposite benefit, where it's like, "Well, that's not helpful for me because I do have people that can help me. So how do I make it given the help that I do have as a leader?"
Yeah. That's good. I mean, that's different. That's a different thought process. That's interesting. Okay. Good. So, because you just said something that I never thought about. You were like, and it actually kind of rose last episode. Shout out to Stanton Parker II. And he was like, sometimes he feels like his story is invalid because it's not rags to riches. Because his mom and his pops love him because they poured into him because he had certain things growing up. And what I heard you just say is sometimes a self-made story posits the same issue. Where if I feel like I do got help now, I don't know how to make it because I don't have kind of this same background or the same environment. That's interesting. I think that's valid though. Because I think what you'll see is people attempt to create this narrative in their lives that they are self-made or that they are on their own.
It's true.
And they kind of build a false silo.
And that's what my point is. Like when you feel like that is the way to success, then you create that environment so that you can be successful.
Yeah.
So you think that you don't need to accept someone's help or that you do need to struggle and do it all by yourself when that's not always the case.
Yeah, no, that's really good. An artist from Kansas City, I was talking to him a few months ago at Big Cam IM. Shout out to Big Cam IM. He had a dope event for creators, and the artist was like one of the lies that he's a musician, and he's like one of the lies that he refused to buy into was this notion that he had to be a struggling musician, and he was like, he said he moved to LA and like they take pride in being struggling musicians and being broke and that being a part of like the art and he was like, nah, I'm gonna find a way to get some money.
Yeah.
So that when I produce art, it's because I want to and it's because I like it and I'm gonna produce art from a place of healthy finances, not from this place where if I don't make this song, I ain't gonna make rent.
I'm gonna eat tonight.
Yeah, he said, he said in that he's created some of his best art and had some of his better breakthroughs because he could sit down with his art and he could be better at it.
Yeah.
So that's good.
That's true.
That's really good. The second one, number two lie is if you want to be successful, all it takes is hard work.
I cannot stand when people say that. That blows me. Like, that really gets on my nerves so bad because there are so many people who work really hard and they don't have the same type of success. And I think about, like, the working class family where the mom works 40 hours per week and she is doing her best to provide and she is still struggling. Yeah. So I think it just, again, it creates a false idea of what's necessary to succeed.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's more than hard work. Some people are successful just because of who they're related to or their family name or they were given an inheritance or something. Like, hard work is not the only thing that leads you to success.
Yeah. No, it's true. And a lot of success is right place, right time.
Yeah. It is timing. Yeah.
There's a lot of things that, like, for example, the owner of the Clippers, he's a smart guy, Steve Ballmer, smart guy, but he was friends with Bill Gates.
Oh.
And so he was the CEO of Microsoft. They built it together. He wasn't necessarily more brilliant than any other people, any of the other people at the time, but he was in the right place at the right time. Yeah. And now he's a billionaire. I think he's the richest owner in the NBA.
That's crazy.
And so there is a lot of that required. Now, to maintain success requires hard work.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are, like I said, there's a lot of accidental success stories. T-Pain told a story, and if you haven't noticed, this year T-Pain finally cut the label ties. So he's been talking a lot more, doing way more interviews. He's making way more music. Just because he's like, bro, send me 50 down, I'll give you a hook.
Yeah.
And he talked about how his biggest song, I'm in Love with the Stripper, was a joke.
Oh.
And he wrote it to make fun of his friend. And this was so interesting because I didn't know T-Pain been in the music industry for a long time.
Yeah, he's very, very
and
talented.
So before he blew up, he was writing for everybody else. And he was producing, he was doing all that. But he said he literally wrote the song to make fun of somebody. One of the label guys walked in and was like, "Hey, play that again." And he was like, "Nah, bro." He's like, No, play that again. I think you. And he played it again, and the guy was like, "Oh no, this is it."
I love it.
And T-Pain was like, "Yeah, it is, right?" Like he like flipped like, "Yeah, it is." I knew it. I knew this was good. But it was just it was a random song that he was playing around with.
That's crazy.
That kind of thrust him into the spotlight.
Yeah.
And it took him from like behind the scenes to one of the bigger stars of a generation. And so a lot of success is being in the right place at the right time. Now, I think you have to, it takes hard work sometimes to be able to take advantage of an opportunity and take advantage of a situation. Because we see a lot of people who get success and then lose it.
For sure.
Because they're lazy or go ahead.
I know. So do you think that it is discipline or hard work that is more important when it relates to success? Because
tell me, before I answer, tell me in your words, what are the differences between the two?
Oh, so I would say discipline is just consistently pursuing something. Okay. Like you set this goal, you're going to be disciplined to get there. Each day you're making a decision to get there. And hard work is just like when you show up, what you do at that time.
I don't think you can separate the two.
Okay.
When it comes to maintaining success. I think you both have to be efficient with the way you use your time. So you have to work hard, but you also have to be consistent with the time you use. Because if either is lacking, you won't have long-term success.
True. So can you like outwork bad discipline or out-discipline?
It depends.
Okay.
Because
I'm thinking,
I don't know how you separate the two. That's what I'm struggling with the idea that you can be hardworking but not disciplined.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, because I do think like if you're more disciplined, you are more likely to succeed.
Sure, but what is your discipline? What are you disciplined with? If it isn't hard work?
Okay, like your time, your resources, maybe.
I guess. I mean, I guess I could see it being like if we talking about like maybe saving or investing, that could be a thing because that's not necessarily hard work, but discipline would apply. But if we're talking about really, to me, any other area of life, their discipline and hard work kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Third lie. Man, managers don't do nothing.
Is it a lie? No, I'm just kidding.
Talk to me. Is it a lie?
I'm just kidding.
If I say something that you think is true, you can say you think it's true.
I don't know. I think that a lot of people think managers, but that middle management is really tricky because sometimes it just seems like they're a microphone. Like, oh, the upper leadership told me this. I'm going to tell you guys what to do. So I think that sometimes that middle management can be perceived as not doing anything. But you had talked about it in a few episodes ago. Sometimes a middle management job really is to keep the balance between the organization and the people. And that does take work. It takes a different set of skills than upper level leadership, but I think it does take skill nonetheless. Yeah. Like to me, the middle management team, that management position, they are more, I don't know, like people oriented maybe. They know more so they should know more so how to communicate with people, communicate expectations, and to like resolve minor issues as well. So I wouldn't say they don't do anything, but I have said that before. I've said that before, like, what does management do? What is your job? So I would understand why someone would say that for sure.
Yeah, I think this is a huge misconception and it's unique to the way we do businesses and companies in the West or in today's time with these ginormous corporations needing so many levels and layers of management.
Yeah.
But I think usually managers do the things you don't want to do.
Yeah.
And so for retail, they might have to be there early and leave last. They might have to do the schedule.
Yeah.
You don't want to do schedule. And it's usually not things that you can't do.
It's things you don't want
Things
to.
you don't want to do.
Some middle management sacrifice more to do like the, not grunt work even.
Well, I don't think it's a
not
sacrifice. I think it's just that's their job. Their job is to do things
That you
that
don't
would
wanna do.
not get done otherwise.
Yeah.
Because the other employees don't want to do it. Even having like other employees, usually employees don't want to meet with peer-to-peer and check someone on their work ethic.
Yeah.
Or them being late to work, or I don't want to deal with that.
That's true.
You got to write people up and
not
document.
writing people
yeah,
up.
people don't want to do that.
But I did have a position that a part of their evaluation was peer. It was like 2 peer evaluations and then 1 from your direct supervisor. And I thought it was really interesting because it asked the same questions like, how would you rate this person's ability to resolve conflict or to partner cross-departmental? So it did allow like your peers to say what they thought.
Yeah.
But that was my first time ever having that. And I haven't had it since.
Yeah, and because people don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Like one of my jobs right now, we're supposed to do peer-to-peer shadowing and where they match us up with somebody. Me and my peer talk all the time. We ain't never talked about doing the shadowing.
Really?
Because it's something extra.
But what is it about like equal level? Like when you're on the same level as someone, what is it about that makes you not want to like comment on their work or to lead in that way?
Because I think most people just want to do their job. And so peer-to-peer is usually not in your job description to be developing other people or to be leading in that capacity. And so for the normal average person, I think they just showing up like, I'm going to do my job and I hope Buddy do his.
That's true, because people will say that it ain't my job to judge you or it's not my job to tell you you're not doing yours.
That's when you
That's
and the boss.
fair. I'm not the I'm not the boss.
That's when you and the boss, right?
That's true.
And so, I mean, until like it started making you have to work more.
Yeah.
And until like, like for being honest, like as long as it ain't making me work more,
It's not my business.
ain't none of my business. And so managers do those kind of things that we don't want to do. And a lot of times managers don't want to do it, but it's their job. Things like, even like, I used to work for a call center. Our managers would listen to our calls. I don't want to listen to nobody talk on the phone. That sounds horrible.
You wouldn't listen to your peer.
I'm barely staying awake on my phone call.
I think
and I got to talk.
Barely?
So just if I can't talk and I'm muted, good night, Irene.
Chat, let's ask Justin. Did you ever fall asleep on a call?
That's what I just said.
You said I'm barely staying awake, as in you were
nodding
kinda
off.
awake.
As in afterwards, my manager going, hey, did you fall asleep on the last call? And me going, I don't know. Probably. That's probably why what she was saying sounded weird, because I was just catching bits and pieces.
It's not okay. It's
I'm
not
just saying,
okay at
I don't
all.
want no parts of that.
But you're not that person anymore.
No, I don't work there no more. You put me on that phone, I'm going right back to sleep. I just don't do that job no more. I ain't changed that much.
That is so crazy.
I just realized what I was and what I was supposed to be doing.
That is really
Shout
crazy.
out to Dr. Rob Jones. He was in there agreeing with me.
He was.
And my boy Mal Hurd. We was grinding. Yeah, we was grinding in that call center, man. I remember I went and got married. I had a week off. I'm getting married. They called me when I got back, like, you coming back? I just ignored the call. I just ignored the call. I ain't coming back. You ain't got to worry about me. Go ahead and fill that cubicle, Playboy, because I ain't coming back. I couldn't do it.
They celebrate.
I couldn't do it. All right. I'm so excited being here with Nate every week. And then shout out to my wife. Your support has meant a lot to me.
Thank you.
She watches all the episodes. She comments, likes them. I appreciate it so much because she ain't got to do that because I ain't going nowhere either way. But to all my people, I love y'all, man. Until next time, peace. You are so annoying. Crew Excellence. Another great episode. I'm so honored to be leading the journey you're on. And I just want to let you know, this is what we're building here. We're building a community and an audience and a family that pursues excellence together. And if you want to be part of that family, right, this content's free. You can keep coming over here every Friday, catching a podcast, but we have so much more. First of all, if you join Crew Excellence, you get the podcast on Thursday. Yup, 24 hours early. Second thing, you get part of our private group where we talk about leadership every single day. You get Motivation Monday. You get discounts on merch. Okay. And anytime we have an event, you get first dibs on tickets. So I think that being a part of this community is amazing. There's definitely different levels to it. But hey, if you just watching and you say that ain't for me yet, cool. I appreciate you. Keep watching. Like, comment, subscribe. But if you want to go deeper and you want to be more of a part of a community that loves each other and that pushes each other to be their best self, go ahead, head over to the website, join Crew Excellence. It's a membership site on the site. You can join it and then you get entered right into the community, plugged in. Hey, it's dope over there. I'm talking about fire. You missing out. But hey, I love y'all for whatever you do and however you are a part of Crew Excellence. And I can't wait till next week. Please watch another video. If you missed the episode, tune in because they all fire. All right, man. It's the host who's the Moses, your favorite Crew Excellence member, and I'm out. Peace.